Welcome to my 2023 trip across Scotland. In this trip spanning just under 10 days, I will be travelling across the north coast of Scotland, visiting all of its natural beauty, photographing all its landscapes and trying to portray it as best as I can. Over the 10 days, this might be just instructional. Because of weather and other events, this plan might not be able to go ahead. The budget, not much at all. I have planned just about £500 for fuel, another couple £100 for food, and the accommodation I have already booked in advance, 2 hotels at different dates. For the rest of the days, I will either car camp or camp in the tent. We're barely moving. As I started the journey at about 5 PM, I went out driving. Hopefully, I won't catch much traffic throughout the night. But I wasn't expecting traffic this close to home. And I still have to go through Birmingham. Closing in on Birmingham, I got to traffic again. As I got closer to Scotland, the weather and temperature took it downhill. All of a sudden, hailstones started coming down.
Suddenly the hailstones start.
The temperature crept down and down and down until in the negatives. As I went through Glasgow and took the A87 past Loch Lomond,
So sketchy, bro.
that's when suddenly it started to dawn. My tyres and the car's condition aren't made for this.
Just icy everywhere and it's scary.
Most of the time it was around -4 degrees. I drove carefully and eventually got to Crianlarich. There was powdered snow everywhere and snow ploughs at every corner waiting to plough.
This is Fort William, which is not our stop. It has snowed here, but it's not snowing right now. So we have a problem. It's 6 o'clock now and I'm in Dorney. It isn't far away from where I want to be. In Applecross. It's only half an hour away. From the start of the Applecross Pass. It takes 20 minutes, half an hour, depends how bad it is. To actually get to the junction that starts the Applecross Pass. That's another half hour to get there. You have to go all the way like up here and then back around, so you can't cross here. And also it's snowing and it's really layering up now. We're out of the negative temperatures, but it's layering up very well. I really wanted to do the Applecross Pass at sunrise, so I'm gonna take a half an hour nap for my sanity. I've driven 560 odd miles without sleeping and with barely any breaks. So it's been below freezing most of the time. Icy in loads of places, very, very slippery and risky. Loads of deer just by the side of the road, waiting to pounce out into the road. I'm not sure, I'm not local. I don't know how used they are to cars and if they do or not. I'm gonna go to sleep for a half hour. Guess what? Nothing you have to guess. It's 8 o'clock. And it's all white and grey and miserable. I'm gonna go towards Applecross. I'm gonna do the pass. And I'll get to the other side. There's a pub there, I hope. It's open. I hope it's open. We'll see. I'm going to get some more nap on the other side. It's 3 degrees out, so it's better. Bit of snow on the ground. So it is at this junction that the NC 500 starts. If I go that way, I start it. So let's go. Okay. Let's chuck it in here.
The Applecross Pass was a mistake. I was very confident, even after reading the high risk of snow sign, that I will be able to make the pass and get to the other side, even if I had to drive very slowly.
Hello? I was just wondering how the pass is.
No idea.
Oh, you haven't gone up the... Oh, fair enough. So you don't know. Take it easy, yeah?
But at one point, as I started driving slower and slower, grip just gave up. I felt the car moving to whichever way it wanted, ignoring my steering inputs, and I had to slow right down. As I slowed down and pressed the brakes, the car did a slight move backwards, which was uncomforting.
Cheers.
I was worried there and there. Should I reverse back and then risk locking up the wheels and sliding back downhill into whatever I would hit? All when suddenly a snowplow comes and saves the day. But wait, because it wasn't over there. I still have to find a way to get behind him and then make my way down behind him. But he's now in front of me, and it's a single track road. So we talk, we discuss. There was another car behind him. There was a passing place big enough for me to pull an endpoint turn and then be behind him as he plows down the hill and just forget the Applecross Pass. And that's what we do. After a bit of messing around, I'm behind him and just driving back down. I then make my way through Charleston, Pull, and then I get to Dundonell. I still can't pronounce that, so I don't really know, honestly.
I just took a shot, but I think I have a much better composition now. So I wanted to compose those three sort of, well, it looks like three peaks, but I don't know, there might be more, whatever. It looks like three to me on the side. But actually, so that valley there is illuminated and it creates a sort of contrast with the rest. So I'm thinking I might photograph that now instead of these. I'm here in Dundonald. It's barely 2 p.m, but I feel really sleepy because I pretty much have only slept. So really I have 3 hours of sleep.
I take a nap and then I move just further up the road at Corryhally car park where there is a farm. I visit this farm and I find my first Highland cattle to photograph. The farmer was there as well and he said that I can approach the cows no problem and that he wouldn't mind. As well as that, all of these farms have public footpaths going through them and public right of way, so even when the farmers are not around you are allowed to open a gate and make your way through the farm to pass to another place.
Cool. Good morning. I have had a lot of sleep. This sleeping bag is really warm actually. I'm warming up the car a bit now. Get the battery a bit recharged on the car just so I know that if I leave it here for 2 days I'm not gonna have to jump start it. Because I did use some of the battery yesterday. Oh boy. I was just looking at the weather forecast and it's forecasting rain for literally a whole week. The more you look at it, the more you see that it's raining. And even more rain.
I packed all my bags, packed my sleeping bag, my tent, and then started making my way up through the farm and up the hill. Come on, give me a moo. No, okay. As I walk further up through the rain and for another hour, I realized that maybe it wasn't such a good idea. Maybe if I'd get there, what would be the point? I would just camp in a bothy or by the river and wake up in the morning to the same exact conditions as today. I wasn't prepared for the low temperatures and also the whitewash that was snow. There was not much photographic interest. It was just white and grey, no light, nothing.
This is already really damp. I'm not worried about the rest. I'm not worried about all this stuff. But this, myself really as well. I'm really wet. Like, I quite like hiking, but I think I'm a fifth of the way through, which might not seem like a lot, but it has been an hour of walking. So I don't know, do I see a point in getting everything wet and then it's a whole nightmare just to see, you know, a bothy out in the wild in a lake with grey skies?
So I decided to make my way back to the car and then drive up to Ullapool where I'll be staying the night.
I'm in Ullapool and my bonnet is steaming. It's like 12:30 or something, I haven't checked the time. So I'm just going to chill here, do some stuff on the laptop, figure out some things, you know, repack some stuff. This looks like some, like, 2000s era Slim Shady bullshit. You know, baggy stuff, but it was the cheapest of the bunch. Why buy S when you can buy L and get more material for your money? Yeah. Idea is these were just 20 quid, and apparently they're waterproof enough to, like, be alright. I'll just have to look like I'm rapping or cooking meth. Still not meth? Oh. There's a harbour, but most important thing is, well, guess what? There's midges. We got bit by one somewhere. Got a midgie net, but I don't think it's quite warranted yet. Right, I think I am beyond being saved from myself. Because I decided to go up here to the Ullapool viewpoint. It's not up here, it's down there. There's more. I'm here getting eaten by midges. And that behind me, I want to climb. Why do I feel like I'm gonna get royally screwed? When I get up there, it's just gonna be foggy. Let me get drone in. It was so nice earlier. I don't know why I didn't get drone out earlier. So, I'm going to a pub, incognito, just me and the DJI. So, I'm here in, I think Cadelic, I think it's called. Just, it's 5:03, just ordering some food. So, that was a really good meal that I had at this restaurant. And, yeah, quite chuffed. I mean, it's a tiny town, so expectations aren't really high. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this. Good morning. It's 8:08, and I'm still here in Ullapool. Gonna mess around, do a couple things maintenance-wise, and then be on my way. With good recommendation, I'm going to, and I think I pronounced it right, Store.
Having nothing to do because I had 2 days planned for camping, I decided to scrap the plan and just drive up to Lochinver, which was a recommendation from the gift shop lady where I bought my puzzle from, the one behind me, and a bathroom gift set. Also for me. The roads and scenery were just stunning. Rolling hills, clouds, lakes, single track roads and cattle all over the place. It was just beautiful. Stor was also rather beautiful, but very barren town, and the beach had very nice sands, worth of a praise. Not sure where to go from here. I'll go... Oh, this is not even Store. This is Clachtal Beach. Store is a bit further up. I then drove back out to the main road, but now following the north side of the coast route.
on, sheeple. Come on, sheeple.
My next target was Kaileska Bridge, which was just beautiful. Pure simplicity and engineering, it just looked stunning as it curved to the left from where I was standing, and the few supports just made it very simplistic and interesting to look at, and I suppose drive on as well. And finally ended the day in Scurry by the beach, where I actually saw a sunset. Good morning. I can actually see some colour in the sky every now and then. We're gonna go towards Sandwood Bay, just up there. That's gonna be a very short drive. The next day I made it to Kinlochbervie, which I might have butchered, I don't really know. And then I made it to Balcrick, which is where you park up and then make your way to Sandwood Bay. That was easier said than done. I get to Balcrick and it was horribly windy. It started raining and it kept on raining throughout the whole time. My whole plan was to camp at Sandwood Bay. But as you can see the trend of this journey, I didn't manage to camp. So I'm just gonna go to Sandwood Bay. I'm not gonna camp there tonight. Just like everything else that's happened so far, it's all because of the weather. I mean, this trip is great. I'm trying to see the good in the bad, but all at the same time, this could have been so much better if the weather was good. It took me an hour and a half to walk to Sandwood Bay, and lo and behold, it was glorious.
I guess the first time my camera toppled over while on a tripod just earlier. I don't know why I always pack this much. Like I'm gonna feast here. And again, what if I get stranded or something? I don't know. Let's continuously check the tide. I don't know if this is low tide or high tide. It's starting to rain.
On the way back, I met an elderly group, which, to me, didn't look that old, but the lady out of the three said that their age combined was of 230. Back in the car now, and still raining. But the sky is opening, well, not really opening up, it's just pretending like it's doing. It's just thinner cloud in one spot, so the sun seems as though it's shining through, but it's really not. Later that night, I went from Sandwood Bay all the way up to Duncansby. There in Duncansby, I got quite late, but I managed to fill up some fuel because the pump is open 24/7. So £11 later, I was parked in a caravan site full of caravans and my car. But it was important for me because for the last few nights I had slept in my car. So this time around, I took my tent out of my boot, my sleeping bag, and then camped right behind the car, which was much easier.
Good morning. It's not raining, which is good.
In the morning, my idea was go to the small cave, which was just a few hundred yards away, and it also had a car park. So I parked down there, went to check it out, and was quite stunned. There was also a waterfall in this cave, which was just up by a bridge, and you would walk down this bridge and into a pathway made of wood, a raised pathway above the water, and then you'd get to a viewing platform where you would see a faint waterfall unless you had the light.
Quite an event, this cave. I was low on supplies, so I thought, oh, let me just dip to a shop. It's Sunday, and most shops are closed. Allegedly, there's a cafe down there, which I could probably get a coffee from.
I was low on supplies, I was low on food. I had to find a shop somewhere. So I drove east from Duncansby, which is on the north coast, through Moyne, which is a wasteland, and I've also had that planned as a wasteland, as a camping adventure. But I didn't stop there for much. It was boring. It was a wasteland. I went through the Tongue Causeway, which I thought, based on Google Maps and the reviews, that it would have a octopus sign. But I suppose because of many different reasons they had to take that down. I don't know, maybe it was just too scary for tourists. They actually thought that an octopus was going to take their car away. Nevertheless, I was disappointed by the causeway, and eventually I made it to Betty Hill, where I found a general store open for just around 3 or 4 hours. It didn't have much, and pretty much everything was expensive. After I got my stuff takeaway from the cafe, I decided to go back to a car park right next to the general store and just attempt to try and fix some of the issues that had developed with my drone over the last week. Some transmission issues with the image transmission. And while I was using it the last few days, I've noticed that even in Ullapool, I lost transmission quite a few times while I was on a viewpoint, a few hundred meters away, but also just around 5 to 10 meters away from me. The drone was right there, I could see it. So I tried to do an update to try and figure out if there are any available updates. I had pretty stable connection there, 4G, 2 bars, fair enough. The update failed at 32%. I thought, okay, well, let's restart the drone. It would no longer connect to my controller, and so thus I wasn't able to do anything else to it. So I downloaded a DJI Assistant. Mind you, I had stable internet connection throughout the next 3 hours. So the stable internet connection was not the problem that the update failed. Don't ask me, because it was installing it, so clearly it already downloaded it. So the drone wouldn't be recognized in the DJI Assistant app either. The controller, however, would get recognized just fine. You could update the firmware on it and everything. But the drone bricked. So that's where the adventure for the drone stops. So that afternoon, I was just driving around, just a bit sad. Most of the stuff hadn't gone to plan, and the drone also failed working. I made my way towards Thurso, but I didn't want to actually get to Thurso on that day. So I stopped in a town quite close to Thurso, and I went down a single track road down to the beach where there was a car park, and I had alarms that night to wake up throughout the night and check the skies and make sure that if I get clear skies then I can do some astrophotography. That was part of the plan from the very beginning, to get to the Highlands where there is very little light pollution and also attempt some astrophotography, which in the middle of the month there is also a new moon, which means there is no extra light pollution from the moon in the sky, spoiling the shots of the stars.
Of course, one of the big reasons why I came to the Highlands was because I wanted to photograph the Milky Way with some sort of subject behind it. And the first night, I was too busy driving. It was a clear sky. Tonight, I was busy sleeping. 4:58 now, it was 4:45 when I woke up suddenly for no real reason. So I asked Siri what time it is. She said 4:45. I just checked. I opened the door, looked up at the sky. Now it was fully clear. Maybe it's been like this for an hour. If it had been like this for an hour, then at 3 o'clock it would have been perfect timing.
I was very bummed. I was very annoyed with myself that I didn't check hard enough. So the next night, and the next few nights along, I changed my plan. My plan was to go to Thurso, John O'Groats, Brora, then go down to Inverness and do this other stretch of the North Coast 500 over the next few days. So I decided I have a few more nights until I need to go to my hotel room in Fort William, because I have it booked and I don't want that money to go to waste. And I also have to go to Fort William as well, because it is a nice area, especially Glencoe. And so on that day, I drove to Thurso. I stayed around Thurso, I visited a few cafes, I stayed by the beach, it was quite nice. But in the end I decided to also visit Duncansby Head, which was probably the highlight of the trip. One of the highlights of the trip, really. I saw seagulls in the mating period on the cliffside by Duncansby Head Lighthouse, and overall it was a really nice area. And I also found out that actually that's the northernmost point, and I stood on it. John O'Groats is only the northernmost town as far as I'm aware, Duncansby Head. So that night I was in Thurso. I also had a hotel room at Premier Inn, where I went to sleep quite early. I went to check in at about 3 PM and went to sleep at about 7 as far as I remember.
But for the time being, I'm gonna take a shower.
And then woke up at 12:30 at midnight and checked outside, and it looked quite clear, and I thought it might clear up. Let's just go, and then I can come back after 3, which at 4 would be when the astronomical twilight starts, and thus I won't have any more darkness to work with. So I went out and drove the whole night. Drove to Duncansby Head, drove here, drove there. It was a learning experience. But that night something tragic happened. As I was driving up to Duncansby Head, I unfortunately hit a rabbit, which jumped out in front of my car right as I was taking a turn, and he was by the side of the road.
I think I killed a rabbit.
I think unfortunately he got caught under my car, and at that rate I was hoping that he wasn't alive, because he would suffer more.
Well, I need to do something in memory of this rabbit, and it better be these f***ing pictures that he died for.
I named them posthumous Donny, so R.I.P. Donny. And that night I also made a promise that I would, at the very least, attempt my best to try and photograph the galactic center in a way that it pleases me and, you know, it avenges his death. But there was no success. There was too many clouds. It wasn't really interesting.
And no clear skies tonight. And I think I found a couple spots that, you know, scouting wise work pretty well. There's a spot by Duncansby Head by the pier. It's pretty good. There's a pier there at Duncansby Head.
And so I came back, but didn't feel defeated.
Even though I couldn't see the galactic center almost at all, it was still sort of a good exercise to find out what good places have it and what can you see behind it and so on. Yeah, Donny, rest in peace. Let's just leave the John O'Groats.
Actually disappointed with this place. I don't know, I'm gonna go back to Duncansby Head and convince myself that way.
as we are now, visibility is great. It's just it's pretty cloudy. This is broken clouds, to be fair, so it's not bad. You can see sky. However, in the distance there, you can see Stroma. You've got the other Orkney Islands there. So that's all islands I was seeing. Well, this is an island as well, but I just mean the archipelago. Over there, it's clear skies looking towards west. Because I don't need it to be clear skies right above me. I need clear skies to be where I'm pointing the camera at. East. Sorry, did I say west earlier? So John O'Groats has got clear skies on the east. That's of course now at 1:30 p.m. I can keep on checking up here whether I'm gonna have clear skies here or clear skies in John O'Groats on the east coast.
But yeah, I'm here on the hill, on top of the viewpoint, and it's really cool. It's just there was a bit of a rain shower, and then it just passed. It just blew over to the Orkney Islands that way, behind me, and now it's pretty much left behind clear skies. 18 minutes to 7 o'clock, and it's outside. It's said to have clear skies between like 7 and 11. Maybe it's later, because even with the rain earlier, it was meant to start at one time and it started like an hour later or something. So maybe they've got their timings wrong, which works in my favour. But also, there's a place in John O'Groats.
As the evening crept, I would go over back to John O'Groats, to Duncansby, which I hadn't visited before, but I wanted to visit the stacks and see if maybe, as the nights grew darker and later, I would be able to photograph anything on that side.
So I'm at Duncansby Head Lighthouse, which is right near John O'Groats. Just got here. It's 7:27, and you can see I've got my head torch on because, well, it's dark. I'm gonna go to the cliffs in the dark with just a head torch and a dream to see if I can. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go there and find out. I don't know.
I woke up throughout the night and it was very windy. So I decided to drive just a few miles back down to John O'Groats by the seaside, a big car park. And lo and behold, I woke up that morning and it was rainy, miserable, very low visibility, grey everywhere, torrential rain, high winds, strong winds. But by the time I did a few things, I went to Duncansby Lighthouse again, and the weather started clearing up. Mind you, this was the daytime.
Here we are, whatever them are. I mean, the stacks, of course, very pointy stacks at that as well. And you can tell why they're not like called cones or something, because there's like literal stacks of rocks on top of each other from the different ages of the earth.
wind gust has just finished, and I could barely stand up on my own 2 feet during that wind gust. Holy moly, the winds here. Last thing I want is for this to like drop and get full of mud.
So I will now be moving to a cafe at John O'Groats again. It feels like every place I go there like twice or 3 times even. So here it's already the 2nd time I go to John O'Groats, already like the 3rd time I will go to.
That day, for some odd reason, I decided to also start driving down towards Helmsdale, which I don't know why I went there. In the end, I didn't stay there for long. I drove back up. And I stopped at Wellinghouse Steps. There was another lady at a gift shop in John O'Groats who recommended that place, and I thought, sorry, why not?
So, as you could probably tell, I'm not in Helmsdale anymore. I drove north again, 24 miles, to these steps, which I haven't gone out yet to see them. Haha, funny.
And while I was there, down at the bottom, there was a BBC crew filming about the John O'Groats Trail. They were doing allegedly a 5-minute sort of tiny documentary. But it was really cool to talk to them there, and they were also really quite intrigued about what I was doing with this project. But talking about the location, I quite liked it, and I thought there are quite a few spots that would frame the Galactic Centre quite well, should it have clear skies at about 3 in the morning. I then went further up because that general area looked to be slightly cloudier, but closer to Thurso it would be clearer. So you can see how I wasted a lot of fuel going down to Helmsdale for the very reason of just photographing clear skies. The clear skies would be further up north, not south.
Oh, this is the final boss.
I could stay like here-ish, although I have nothing much to photograph. But this sunset is glorious, bro. Glorious. But yeah, I'm just going to wait here really, and just keep on checking the cloud coverage, and yeah, I've got till 3 in the morning to do something, and it's currently 7. Fancy. Right, I'm still deciding which ones I'm going to have, but it's either pork sausages or ravioli. They're ravioli and sauce, tomato sauce, but I also put some Tabasco sauce on it. Just spot on. This is very promising, because at 9 we get night time,
and it's now 8:15.
Good evening. If it's really bad resolution, it's because it is. That's 720p. But I am recording in infrared, so I'm not spoiling what I see, which is a damn beautiful night sky. Holy fuck. I don't even need to use like a photo app, like photo pills or whatever, to figure out that is the Milky Way.
Oh yeah, it's definitely shot something. There's a camper van right there.
It was closing in towards midnight, and the clouds would roll in pretty much anywhere in this area. It wasn't good then. This adventure ends here with the night sky and chasing the stars.
So, I thought I would drive to Inverness and then sleep a bit and then drive to Fort William. But then somehow here I am teleported in Fort William.
So I got to Fort William at about 4 in the morning. Good morning. It's 8:15. I slept. I woke up. It was really cloudy. Now suddenly the sun has sort of come up, so I'm surprised. But I'm gonna go have breakfast and then see what I can do in Fort William for the day. However, I also decided to go to Ben Nevis Visitor Centre, and I don't know why I decided to do a lightweight hike up the Nevis. Now, I wasn't too sure to my core whether I would get to the summit of Ben Nevis, because I knew that even lightweight, it would be a few hours. You know, you'd use like half the day just going up and down. And I don't know if I was ready for that. So I got my water filter, I got my water bottle, I got my squeeze pouch, I got some sweets in my pocket, my phone, my DJI, and I just went. I didn't even wear a rain shell, which I knew that was a bad idea, but I still thought it's a good idea, let's go. In the end, I only ended up making it to the halfway point, or less than halfway point, where the lake is. So I then made it back down and gone back into town, gone to Morrison's, bought some beer, bought some food, and just decided to go to my bed and breakfast really early, before they even said that about 6 p.m. would be the check-in time. Had my beers, I tasted a few, and they were actually quite nice. They were local brews. The idea was to get to Glencoe early in the morning, see the sunrise, photograph it in what natural beauty it has, and then make my way back home to London.
So, good morning. I'm pretty much packed up, and we're going to be off to Glencoe right now. Last time I shot Glencoe, 4 years ago, still looks the same.
the trip, I think it went pretty well. There were some things that could have gone better. The plan could have gone more accordingly, but it didn't. Instead, I did some unexpected things and seen some things that I am actually quite glad about. You know, the seagulls, Duncansby Head. I met some interesting people, and overall, I have no regrets, other than my drone breaking and somehow not being able to use it anymore. Now, I look forward to the next trip. Hopefully, it's a better one. Hopefully, I get to see a lot of cool things.